Hello people, it's episode 59 of the Soulvent Records podcast. I am Mic Drop and it's been like nearly 2 months since I was last in this room recording a podcast for you all. It's great to be back and we're kicking off the show with the last single from the Visionobi album before the full thing is out. The tune's called Bleeding Out. It's produced by Zero T and it features Aaliyah, Esprit. It's going to be out right now by the time you hear this podcast. Enjoy. I'm bleeding out, you can't save me. Big shouts to our friends at UKF for featuring this for us. And as per usual, as we've done in the run up to this album being released, I'll be including a very special exclusive tune for you right at the end of the show. Stick around to find out what it is.
The time is now, grab the bull by the horns, don't look down, the past forlorn, ride that cloud, dream of the force, one track mind, heartstrings torn, new sound born, loads more depth, lyric after lyric, step after step, movements made until the silence of death, never more sure, promises kept, epiphanies are a funny thing, shoulder relief like I'm spreading wings. Days on end repenting for my sins. Like Socrates, I bring that moral spin. Every bar I give the run around. Planting hope instead of seeds of doubt. A long time ago I made a vow. Reveal my deepness, I'm bleeding out.
Just before I get off topic on the Visionobi album, got to show you the CD here. Sorry, George is getting annoyed because I am holding it in the wrong place and I'm also reflecting it right into the camera. It's got the it's got the cellophane on it, so you know it's box fresh. We haven't got the vinyl delivered just yet to the office, but we've got the CDs there. And keep your eyes peeled for signed copies. And Joe told me before coming on to record the show that we're going to be running a competition as well. So you'll be able to get your hands on the physical product as part of that competition win. And unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you will have seen on our social media that we got an album launch event for Rich, which I'll dig into a bit more later on. But if you haven't got your tickets already, don't miss out, because I think definitely the first release sold out in like 1 or 2 days. Second release will be well on its way to doing the same thing. So get on that social media and get up that Visionobi album launch party. We'll see you there. This tune playing now is called Been Ages Since, and it's out now as part of the Full Fat number 2 LP from Glowback Records. Artist is Digital Native. Love this tune. This is one of my Soulvent Backcat deep digs. This is from Dilemma. The tune's called With You. And I am going to talk now after this drop, so I don't speak over the drop. As you hear this podcast, you will have just been at Printworks at the weekend, and you will have seen an amazing Soulvent showcase along with all the other acts there for the closing session hospitality D&B show at Printworks before they close it. Boo! But yeah, we will have just had an amazing showcase from Hugh Hardy back to back in Most, featuring Visionobi on hosting duties. And if that's not enough, the aforementioned Visionobi album launch party will be at the Colour Factory in Hoxton at the start of June. And it's a day party, so it will start at 2 p.m. and end at 10 p.m. And not only is Richard going to be doing an album showcase, he's also going to be DJing, and he's also going to be having some special guest vocalists that are yet to be announced. So get your tickets, as I mentioned earlier, and make sure you get down there to find out who those special guests are. But in terms of announced people, Richard will be joined by Etherwood, who you might have heard of, Lally, Vector and Dushi, and those people will be hosted by CGMC. Looking forward to seeing all of those people in Hoxton at the Colour Factory. I want to say 3rd of June, George. That's the one thing I don't have on my notes. Saturday, 3rd of June. George will look it up for me. I haven't been tapping into your brain for the last 2 months, George. Making up for lost time. George is saying I'm slacking. Yeah, I've got a lot of excuses to get out, having been so rusty. But one plus point on this is that I'm no longer faced with the Gerfatron 6000. The DJM 3rd of June, it is correct, yes. Saturday, isn't it? Saturday, 3rd of June, yeah. The Gerfatron 6000 is no longer, thankfully. I'm going to have to think of a different excuse for the shoddy mixing. For those that don't know, I will explain later in the show why it's been 2 months since I've been in this room. We've got some predictions from the last show to fact check, which really didn't age well. But we'll come on to that. This tune is a new one out on Integral from Edlan. The tune's called Affection, and I want to say this is the title track from the EP. Yeah, George, my own personal version of ChatGPT. I think you might be getting some hammer in this episode. Just like my body, my drum and bass brain has had no exercise for the last 2 months. Yeah. You'll notice watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, what are you doing? But if you are watching on YouTube, you'll notice I've gone for the all black. And that's because I'm carrying a bit of extra holiday weight right now, to try and blend in with the backdrop. So if you're not old enough to get that reference, then Sorry, but yeah, need to get back in the gym and stop putting craft beers and big burgers in my mouth. This tune's called Inner Vision, out now on UKF, from Polaris, Schematic and vocalist Natalie Wood. I love Natalie Wood. I think she does a lot of house music as well, and I would suggest you go and check her out because she's got a very nice voice. Shouts to James KT, runs all the events for us here. Just came in to say goodbye, working late, getting ready for that all important show at the weekend. Yeah, love you KT, bye. I know he's got other responsibilities, George, but he always makes us feel special, like we're the only ones. I have remembered, George, I'm not going to press the Q button too much. I think I did it like maybe a little bit earlier, a bit hard, but I've remembered now. I won't do it anymore. I'll try anyway. This tune coming in is from a friend of ours called Aperio. Tune's called Love Me. Out now on High Tea Music. Big up Joe Aperio. Go check out EP, it's actually pretty cool. this one's a belter. Tune's called Sides. Artist called Leks, Leks. On the promo from Hyperactivity Music. I feel like I feature them quite a bit on the show, that label. They're pretty good, actually. I'm sure they would say not featured enough, but try and get around all the people. I did have in my notes to actually do a fader down job on bringing this current tune in, and the reason for that is, wow, I just went for the double drop instead. Anyway, reason for that, this is Notions from guys you might have heard of called Inmost, taken from their debut album Voyager. And the reason I wanted to give this a play in this show is because very recently the album turned 3 years old, and I don't know if you guys remember, but yeah, releasing an album just as it kind of went into COVID pandemic lockdown stuffs happening was interesting for both us as a label and Bailey and Josh in most, right? So yeah, just getting to a milestone like that, felt like we had to play a tune on the show just to showcase it for people that didn't know, people that have become Soulvent fans or Inmost fans since that album came out. Really looking forward to seeing them at the upcoming events and catching up with them properly, but enjoy Notions from Inmost. Right, I can't really talk all over this tune because there's a lot of vocal in it. From a guy called Slay, who is sick. Slays it, if you will. Producer George is rolling his eyes. His eyes are going out the door there from that really crap joke. But this tune is from Motiv, out now on Liquid V. Features Slay. The tune's called OT bracket shots. And yeah, I think it's got some funk to it. Enjoy the sounds of Motiv and Slay.
I read OT lots, but I don't OT bop. And I've been to the blocks since why they wish, but they're never gonna tell me what. OT, loud and proud, I was blazing loud at the OT blocks. Might see me in a whip with S, and I've been licking off OT shots. Yeah, I read OT lots, but I don't OT bop. And I've been to the blocks since why they wish, but they're never gonna tell me what. OT, loud and proud, I was blazing loud at the OT blocks. Might see me in a whip with S, and I've been licking off OT shots. Never been on P block, never been on Stanford. If it ain't man shouting out, oh, then I'm gonna need some answers. None of them man are bad man, none of them man are gangsters. Every day I bought through, oh, none of them man are dancers. And I was gonna flip to the bakery, but the woman in there two-faced it. So I checked my room for a trim, man, I got a girl and calling me tasty. Living my dreams, don't wait me, just on a daily show with Haribo. But I buy on the crowd went crazy, working the room and I lazy. I read OT lots, but I don't OT bop. And I've been to the blocks since why they wish, but they're never gonna tell me what. OT, loud and proud, I was blazing loud at the OT blocks. Might see me in a whip with S, and I've been licking off OT shots. Yeah, I read OT lots, but I don't OT bop. And I've been to the blocks since why they wish, but they're never gonna tell me what. OT, loud and proud, I was blazing loud at the OT blocks. Might see me in a whip with S, and I've been licking off OT shots.
Going to do some more horrible segues here. Speaking of shots, why don't you come and join us? A hospitality on the beach. George is keeping me guessing with the camera angles here. Hospitality on the beach. You should have got your tickets by now. We've got. Well, it's back in Croatia. You'll know that. We'll be at the same stage we were at. I can't name the stage, but we'll be at the same stage that we were at in the same part of the complex where we had our last outing there back in 2019. And we will also be having a swashbuckling boat party on Friday the 7th of July, 8 p.m. till 11 p.m. So it's going to be slightly later in the day than the one we had in Albania, because that was sick. We were coming home and it was just getting to golden hour. But this one will be sun's down, time for some rhythm. OT like Sir Alex. OT like Sir Alex, what a line. Joe reliably informs me that if you are going to be on the boat party with us, there's going to be a super special guest addition to the lineup of our boat. And the boat lineup that we currently have is Ivory, Hugh Hardy, Asker and Leia Visionobi, and this extra person that we've just agreed to be added as a special guest will be announced in the next couple of weeks, I think. So I don't know if the boat party is already sold out, but once that guest gets announced, if it isn't, it's going to get sold out. So if I were you, I wouldn't be running the risk of missing out. So if you are going to Hospitality on the Beach, get your boat party ticket for the Soulvent boat party, which will be Friday the 7th of July, 8 o'clock. Clear your schedule. And I didn't even do the segue for the shots. Yeah, have some shots on the boat with us. There you go. I'll give you some shots on the boat. Come and remind me. This tune is forthcoming on a new label that you might have / should have heard of. Say that 10 times fast. Late October music from our good friend CGMC. It's his new label. This is forthcoming on that label. The tune's called Ready. And the artist is Somatic. Yeah, Jay tells me that it's the early part of May that this is coming out on his own label, Late October Music. So enjoy this. Go run it up when it's out. Make sure you're ready. George likes this one. Yep, thumbs up, not gun fingers that time. This is from Halogenix on his own label, Gemini. The tune's called Ivory, part of his Four Lost Friends EP. I think the whole thing's out now. Yeah, George has got it on vinyl. Were you queuing up outside his house to get it? please sign it. Have you got a signed one? No, he wishes. George wishes. Lawrence, if you're watching, can we someone who's watching who knows Lawrence, can we get George's vinyl copy of your EP signed, please? Because all the effort George puts into making this show and me look good, and everybody else he does work for here at hospital. I think, I'm trying to do it for you, George. Yeah. If that works, mate, I'm going to be so pleased. I should probably lift the lid a bit on why I haven't been doing this for 2 months. And that is because I did a 5-week trip of New Zealand with my wife Charlotte, and it was 4 weeks in New Zealand and a few days in Singapore at the end. And I've just chucked my notes on the floor. It was amazing. We got to go to our friend Sam and Rochelle's wedding, and thank you so much for having us. My new favourite pal Sam. Can't wait to get back there and see you, mate, and drink some pals. If you're not from New Zealand, you might not know what pals is, but it's a kind of ready to drink can of like soda water and vodka and stuff with loads of fruity flavourings. Pals, if you're watching and you want to do a collab, let's do it. Anyway, big shouts to Sharky and I need my notes for this bit. Sharky and Liam and Max and all the guys down in Pukarua Bay and Sandbar Bar. It was great to meet you all, see you again. Yeah, thank you for making us feel so welcome. Also, really nice to be able to spend more time with Charlotte's family, Winston, Steph, the boys. Too many to name, but yeah, thanks for being so hospitable to us and making us feel so welcome. It was great to see. Hopefully it's not going to be another 3-4 years before we can get back there. And just one last plug of the New Zealand thing. If you are in Wellington and you need your car looking at, then check out Winnie's Auto Repair, because Charlotte's brother knows what he's doing when it comes to cars. This tune is new, out on Shogun Audio, from our mates John and Tom, GLXY. Features the wonderful vocal stylings of Zoe Kypri. The tune's called Sentimental. Did I do that New Zealand segment a bit too early before I said the word sentimental in the tune, George? Was that a missed opportunity there? I've also got in my notes here to remind myself that because I was not here for so long and we pre-recorded the 2 episodes that were going to go out whilst I wasn't here, the second of those 2 episodes, episode 58, I didn't have any notes because we can't see that far into the future. So I gave a couple of predictions in that show, and we said in episode 59, this show, we'd kind of fact check them all, see how well they'd aged, and it turns out that I'm pretty crap at making predictions. So my first one was we'd be on a new Prime Minister, and based on what's happened previously, like, that was a fairly good shout. That was quite probable, but looks like Rishi Sunak's survived it so far. And the second one was that I'd kind of hoped and really wanted, and this is really topical actually mentioning this because John GLXY is a huge Arsenal fan, but I said that I had hoped, or my prediction was that Arsenal would squander their lead at the top of the English Premier League, and sadly, very sadly, they have not done that. So yeah, John GLXY will be pleased of the Soulvent Records podcast play and the performance of his favourite team, Arsenal. Don't write in and ask me for the lottery numbers or anything future looking, because it's not going to go well. But we can move on swiftly to what is a very... I don't know, have you had this one, George? This is new Critical from Klinical, Glowback. Some of the arrangement and drum work on this is sick. Date thing on this file, George, says 10th of April. Does that mean it's out now? Yeah, it is out now. Yeah. Go run it out. Has you got this one on vinyl as well, George? Yeah. Yeah. So George, you won't be able to hear that. But he said track 2 of this is filthy, and it is. I just felt this one, George, feels a little vibe. Goes with the vibe of the show. You will hear that Klinical. A-side or B-side, whatever, the other side of the single. George will tell me the name and I can name check that as well. What's the other tune called, George? Forbidden, yes. You will hear Klinical Forbidden in a club at some point after you hear this show, I can guarantee it. Now that is a prediction you can count on. we continue to feature labels from around the scene. This one is Carbon Music. If you don't know Carbon Music, that is Paul Is it Jubei or Jubei, George? Jubei. George reckons it's Jubei. I agree. Paul Jubei's record label Carbon Music. This tune is called The Source, and it features LSB. And it is saucy. Was that pressing the Q button too hard, George? Just so we can avoid that, actually, I'm going to do a fader downs here to everyone's enjoyment. The next tune is forthcoming on the Break album, and I'm so glad to be able to say those words. This tune is featuring a vocalist called Lorna King. And of course it will be coming out on Symmetry Recordings, that album, but this tune is out now. It's called Wait For You. And don't let this intro fool you. This one's crunchy. Stop it. There's a gum fingers from George in the corner there. You know what, I really enjoyed preparing for this podcast because I felt like I was out of the loop for like 2 months. Now that all that music was being released and I had to catch up and just like chew through it. And I think being on holiday and not doing things that you usually do, like get on the bus or get on the train or go to work or whatever, you don't get out your Spotify and you don't listen to as much music as you do because you're on holiday and you're talking to your family and your friends and you're catching up with people, and invariably you're in a bar or something and they're not playing bangers like this, right? So it was really, really nice to just be able to go through in detail and try and catch up some of these things. So no doubt I will have missed some stuff, but hopefully you've been enjoying the selection so far and continue to stick around for the rest of the bangers I've picked from the list here. I don't want to be away from drum and bass for that long again. I don't know when this Break album's out, but it can't come quick enough. we're just getting into that time of the year, aren't we, George, where all these producers know that it's going to be festival time coming, a lot more events happening. They need to be getting out these hands in the air anthems / gully bangers on tap for people. I'll switch it up a little bit there. This is out now. No, actually, sorry, it's not out now. No, yes, it will be out now by the time you hear this podcast. Sorry, I need to get my thought process correct. This is coming out on the Spearhead compilation Soul Warming Sonics. And I feel like this Soul Warming Sonics compilation has been like in the pipeline, been coming out for such a long time, because I've had loads and loads of tracks off this individually on the promo thing through from Steve Spearhead, and finally the whole thing's just landed bang. And I hope you enjoy this. This whole compilation's amazing. This tune is called When Love Is Over. It's Willem McLeod and Leo Wood. All those people are amazing. Thank you so much, Steve, for putting this together, and all the artists that feature. Yeah, lovely tune. They always do a good compilation, do Spearhead.
Waiting for the day to break. Turn the page and start again. Looking back's no good for me.
This is a really stacked track list, I do have to say so myself. Not to try and big up my own selections, but the aforementioned just plethora of music that's been coming out that's amazing in the last few weeks / months. This is taken from the Charlie Bricks album entitled Art of Change on Flex Out Audio. The tune's called I Can't Stay and features Visages and DRS. I feel like this is up your alley, George. Yes, it is. Do you remember in 57 when we were talking about, was it 57 or 58? We were talking about the album that we played a QZB tune off of it, I think, in the show. We were excited, we were rubbing our hands at the prospect of this album.
I'll sell you a dream. By the gram, I hope you can remember all of this freedom's longer. Maybe I did all the end of the week. Doesn't matter what I spend, cause she can tell I'm a cheat. One, we don't belong amongst the rest of these peeps. Narcissistic egomaniacs that's craving the pee. She wants me, well she used to do. We wanted the same things that should be proof for two. Not craving how we used to move. While saving all this pain for you, I wash it down the drain and move. Nothing that this acre to, but waiting in the vacant room. She's trying to pick away the glue. Pointing fingers, one to blame us you. Let's break another chain of fools. We're just waiting as the stain removes. Depending on the way you choose and praying that this pain improves. We're just waiting as the stain removes. Depending on the way you choose and praying that this pain improves.
this is a nice tune. This is called Love Thing from 0T and ONJ. Out now on the North Quarter, taken from the album Kilburn Park. I want to say ONJ is like a professional pianist and has got in like that with 0T to put out this Kilburn Park album, and there's loads of like neo soul and stuff on it. There's not like, it's not stacked with drum and bass, but actually just appreciate the music. It's really, really good. Thought that was a nice opportunity to use the filter knob there, because we haven't been able to use this filter knob setup since the Govertron 6000 was here for like, feels like 4 episodes, George. Anyway, mix and nerd off complete. This tune is another one from Carbon Music. This tune's called The Variant, and let me get this right, features Workforce. You can hear that in the drum work. Fun fact, I actually bought this tune, it was in my cart twice. So there you go, one for you Paul and one for you Jack. Enjoy twice the amount of money. I can't play it twice, and sometimes it's just nice to give back, give extra. So just as I do the fader down job on this, I wanted to give the next tune a bit of an introduction. So the next tune is from Aaliyah, I should say, of Askell and Aaliyah fame. In the last show, I played a Askell only tune that's out now on NHS 500. This tune is called Dependent, and it was taken, came out on our Soul Music 2020 compilation. And as I open the filter here, intentionally because I left it on, I'm going to tell you about Zaini Aaliyah's self-produced, self-released non-drum and bass hip-hop album that he's just released called Anti-Claustrophobe. And I was going to play one of the tracks from that album on this show, but I just couldn't make the tempos and the keys work, so I'm playing a Aaliyah tune just to highlight his capabilities in drum and bass here, but also tell you about his brand new self-released album called Anti-Claustrophobe. actually go and have a listen to it because it's sick. Big up to you, Saini. The artist name on the album Anti-Claustrophobe is not Saini or Eleda, it's Yenias, which for the smarts amongst you is Saini in reverse. You may have also seen as the feature on a couple of Askell and Eleda tracks. Perhaps the most notable will be Nothing More, taken from Simulations. I knew we put it in there for a reason, George, in the grid. And when we get the Weather the Storm album, that'll get a nice little slot in here so you can look at it and be reminded. In fact, just on that note, I'm trying to arrange with Richard, we do some sort of special podcast to mark the occasion of his album coming out on the 28th of April. And it will also be episode number 60. So if you've been following me and the label and this podcast, you will have noticed that when it gets to like milestone episodes like 50, we try and do something different, or when it gets to a catalogue number like SV75, we release a compilation like this, or SB50 was 5 years of Soulvent. So when it gets to kind of round numbers of things, we like to do something special. So I have an idea in mind of what I would like to do with Rich for the episode 60. We'll see if we can make it work. So yeah, you've got that to look forward to. I think Thoughts About Home from Askell in the last show and Dependent from Aaliyah now shows that they're not leaning on each other, right? When they come together, bangers ahoy. George, I hit the microphone with my hat there, didn't I? This one playing now is one from the new Telomic album. The tune's called Closer. Whole album's out now. It's called Arrivals. And Telomic's album launch party was last week at the Castle in Aldgate as part of the Baseline Collective series of events which we mentioned on the show before. Shout out to the crew there, Tom and Shanksy and Dylan. I know Elliot was playing, Elliot Telomic was there, and Ben Loire, and I'm sure like a bunch of other people that we know and love, and I know Joe was there and he said he had a great time, so go run up that Telomic album, Arrivals. And if you can, support Baseline Collective, the events, because it's all in aid of like Mind charity and mental health charities and stuff like that. Go do it.
Get a little closer.
I can't tell you what label this tune's on, but the tune is called Mind's Eye, and it's from Motiv and from Slater, SL8R, and yeah, this is vibesy one. This is a dedication from my mate Dave down in New Zealand, who I met him at a house party, and like he knew who I was, and we had a real good chat about drum and bass, and he was just like, do you know this guy? And held up his like Spotify profile of Motiv, and he was just like, I fucking love Motiv so much. So Johnny, you have got at least one massive super fan down in New Zealand. Yeah, big up Dave. Hope you like this tune. You probably knew it, to be fair. I'm pretty sure it's new. And big up Motiv for bringing the bangers. Right, just as we get into the breakdown, as I said, I love this time of year because obviously all these summery tunes are coming out, which is kind of right up my street, but also we're getting to talk about more and more events because they're getting planned for like summertime. So Hospitality in the Woods is going to be one day only this year, and it's going to be on the 19th of August. And on the Hospitality Friends and Family stage, if you look up the lineup, we're on the kind of down towards the bottom right of the flyer, we have got a Soulvent showcase, and as part of that stage we have Hugh Hardy, back-to-back Vector, back-to-back Dilemma, featuring Visionobi and Zara Kershaw. How sick is that? The answer is very sick. new one from Technomatic on their own label, Technomatic Music. The tune's called Sunburst. Again, topical track name, just as we get to hopefully a sunburst of nice weather. This hurter is from NHS 500. It's Hugh Hardy and Stacey. The tune's called Impala. Yeah, NHS 500 is out now. Go run it up if you haven't already. Yeah, as you will have seen as I talked through my notes here during the show, Hugh Hardy is somebody that features quite heavily on our lineups of our stuff that we're doing in the next few months. And it's tracks like this which you can understand why. Little switch up again, but this tune is, when I heard it, I was like, this is just so nice. I want to include it in the show. As if you didn't have enough Gold Fat records from the Full Fat LP that just came out the other day, they've got a spring something EP coming out very soon. Came to me on promo list. And this tune is called With Mine, and the artist is called Soulfil, Soulfil, and the drum works nice, the guitar, you know me and Joe love some guitar plus drum and bass, and this has it in abundance. What's not to like? Sit back and enjoy. And never to be presented with a breakdown and an opportunity to speak. There is kind of a couple more things on my notes here. I know I've done a lot of talking in this show, but we've had to catch you up on a lot of happenings when it comes to Soulvent Records. And the big one, I kind of saved it towards the end, is that we are going to be having a monthly Soulvent Records radio show on a radio station that is yet to be named, but it's going to be a monthly 2-hour dose of Soulvent Records. And perhaps even more importantly, it's not going to be me, it's going to be label boss Joe Goss doing his own 2-hour record label focused show on the radio every month. How good's that? I'm buzzing. I'm sure Joe will be having some guests, and you won't be able to get rid of me that quickly. So I'm expecting to crowbar my way in there at some point. Maybe let him do the first couple on his own. But yeah, really excited to be able to tell you that. It's not like all properly announced yet by the radio station, so you know we'll be keeping the name of the station under wraps. But yeah, we're excited to be able to share the news that there's going to be a 2-hour monthly Soulvent Records radio show coming to you very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. We'll obviously announce it to death when we can, and we'll give you instructions on how to lock in and get 2 hours of Joe Goss in your lugs every single month. Face cam, George. This next bit's important. Thank you. We're getting to the end of the show now. Getting to the end of episode 59. And there's going to be no mixing of this because this tune needs an introduction. This is my promised and I think my fourth one in a row maybe. We've started all the last shows with the kind of, you know, next single from the Visionobi album. We started with Bleeding Out. And we're going to end the show with another, I think that's the fourth one I'm doing, which is the non-single campaign exclusive dub for you, the podcast listener, from the Visionobi album, and it'll be out soon enough. You can have this on me. This tune is called More to Life, and it features Etherwood. And just having gone through this album again recently, I know previously I've said Escapologists might be my favourite tune, might be Antidote, might be this. It's just really, really hard to land on an album favourite for me personally. And yeah, as I say, hopefully we can do that special episode. But for now, enjoy More to Life featuring Etherwood from Visionobi.
There's much more to life that meets the eye is a miracle. Every day we're alive, chosen against all odds by surprise, to find our place in history, then figure out the mysteries. Challenge to our limits, put to the test. Set the bar high, we'll settle for no less. There would be no bliss without any stress. Cleanse all our sins, we'd have nothing to confess. Remove the hate, where would we find love? No devil underground, no Lord up above. If people didn't lie, who would we trust? There's plenty of money, or never enough. We think we're educated, but really we're lacking knowledge. Most of us are feasting, others struggle and forage. Go with our gut instincts, so try to place logic. Is it time to slow down? We'll move supersonic. Life-giving water disappears into the sun. At times there's drought, then the rains bring flood. What some humans give, others draw blood. If we didn't feel pain, we would never feel numb. Minus the beat, then no use for a heart. No finish line, then who knows where to start. Do you favor the light or lurk in the dark? Occasionally we cry simply because we laugh. It's all relative, like when the planets align. We're a very small part of this intricate design, but play a key role in this story of time as we fight for glory. What's his, what's mine? Time after time we witness long talk and riddles. The masses wanting a nibble, but dirty underhands fiddle more than a little. Third parties play piggy in the middle. Understand any war on this earth should be considered civil.
I can also tell you that Mr. Etherwood has produced the outro for the album as well. So there you go. We're getting to the end of the show now. We are going to not let you listen to the second drop. I'm so sorry. This has been episode 59 of the Soulvent Records podcast. I've been Mike Drop. That's been George over there. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.